Okay, this is my quadratic formula. Derivation. Ooh. That was bad. Okay. Anyways, let's hope it stays up this time. Quadratic formula derivation. This is my first video doing this, so I hope it goes pretty quickly because I don't want to spend as much time as I did on the Vertex one. So we have our standard form. Standard form, which equals ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And then at the end we're going to have our quadratic formula. Let's hope you can see that right. No, it's hard to see it. There we are. Quadratic formula equals x equals negative b plus or minus a square b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Okay. Okay, anyways. And this basically, for most parabolas, though we got some more tricky ones that we have in vertex form that we've been doing with conic lately, where there are no x-intercepts, but this is for most parabolas where there are x-intercepts. And if there weren't, then this is the discriminant. Then if there weren't, this number would be negative, which means that 4ac would be bigger than b squared. So that'd be that there would be imaginary numbers. If b squared is bigger than 4ac, then you know that there are two x-intercepts, and that is great. And if this is 0, which would be so nice, then the square root of 0 is 0, and plus or minus 0 is 0, which means that there's one answer. And when there's one answer, that means that that there's only one spot, or the vertex is actually on the axis of the y-axis or the x-axis, which is really nice because then that makes this equation and you're solving for it a lot easier. But that's probably not going to happen that much. Okay, so here we go. Let's make sure you can see this. Okay, great. So we are going to start by dividing everything by a, because we don't really want a right now. Right. Okay, so we have x squared plus b over a, x plus c over a. And we're going to be completing the squares. It's kind of similar to what we did in the other video I made, the one, the vertex form. It's kind of funny because I think Mike just emailed me. Mike, you just emailed me, which is kind of cool because when you're watching this, you'll see yourself emailing me, which is kind of a cool paradox. Anyways, sorry about that. Okay, so we can subtract this since we're going to be completing the square. We just want things within b and a terms. So we're going to have x squared plus b over ax plus something mysterious over negative c over a. And to complete the square, as I showed in vertex form, I'm just going to be doing this. X squared is b over ax plus b over 2a squared equals negative c over a. But since you add this to this side, you're going to have to add it to this side. B squared over 2a. Whoops. Just had a save there. Make this look simpler, just x plus b over 2a squared equals negative c over a plus b over 2a squared. Hooray! And if we expand this out, which would be very nice, then we would have negative c over a plus b squared over 4a squared. And we're just going to switch these around to make it b squared. Actually, I'll just do this really quickly. So To make these like terms, we have to multiply these guys by 4a, find the lowest common denominator, the LCM, and we have a common denominator, which makes everything a lot happier, and then these two can add together because they both have the same number. So we're going to have to multiply all of this by 4a, and I'm just going to switch those around while doing so. So we're going to have b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. Perfect. Which is going to equal x plus b over 2a. Great, you can still see that. Now we're going to square root both sides, so we get x and only x, and we're going to get x plus b over 2a equals the square root of all of this, but that's just going to be the square root of b of this over the square root of that. And since this is nicely square rootable, which is going to be over just 2a, we are going to just square root this. So it's going to equal, it's going to be plus or minus the square root of that, because negative things squared are positive, positive things squared are positive. It could be either one, we don't know. So plus or minus the square root of, whoopsies, b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, now all we have to do is really simple, and we have to subtract this part. And whoop-de-doo, it all has the same denominator, so it makes it even easier. So we have x equals negative b, because we're subtracting it, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. This is going to equal your quadratic formula. That it's the same, and this is still the discriminant. Okay, perfect. Great. You can still see all of that work. Great, thanks, Mike.